I have my super secret work uniform on, so technically I can, once it gets bright enough y'all can actually see my face, I can show you what I look like again. If you're watching this, you too are also a product. You just probably aren't a fast food product. I hope you're doing well. Not everyone is. First round of Medicaid cuts appear to have begun happening. And thankfully David wasn't on that list. We dodged that one, thankfully. My dearest roommate and closest friend is technically, well, he's old enough to be a recipient of Medicaid as well, but technically he's a recipient of Medicare or Medicaid because of his transplant. He had a kidney transplant. How many people it ties into, and what a big blow it is. And honestly, I'm kind of concerned that most people are like everything that we're really good at, like and don't look up. We're just going to not look at it until it's right on us. And that's not the way to do it. That's not the way to fix it at all. How you doing, Eli? I haven't seen you in a little bit. Hope you're doing well. Oh, if you hear a drum beat sound, but I got a bucket. It's for the scraps at work and feeding the animals. I officially have upped the crap out of my game. Also, as a bonus for my bucket, once I get the handle made properly for it, I'll be able to, come springtime, when a lot of these prairies come into seed and flower, I'll be able to fish out the Georgia natives in the groups, assuming there are any natives left that isn't just sod, and be able to ideally collect seeds and help those plants spread wild and free again. But that won't be for a while. Right now we're in the dog-heated August months. And unfortunately, y'all, the old tried and true drum I'd be banging on of hydrate, hydrate, hydrate isn't exactly a tune that we can dance to at the moment. Because with the wet bulb temp today being expected to be 100, yeah, if you're outside, you can hydrate all you want, you'll still go out. Because at that heat, it's not a matter, the hydration isn't enough to cool you and keep your brain healthy. What you'll need to do is, unfortunately, utilize ice. By that I mean frozen water. I don't respect those cowards at all. I hope every ICE agent has a terrible day. I hope they have the most terrible day I can possibly wish them without TOS violations. But the good ice, the ones in the waters, you'll want to utilize that, and if you have to be outside, possibly cooling packs. By that I mean those cute little freezer packs they stick in things. You're going to want to associate a couple rags and put those on your head. Sweat rags or whatever, just a little bit of moisture. And then you'll want to take the actual ice packs and put them more towards your core. Because when heat exhaustion and heat stroke sets in, it hits the organs fast and hard first. Then it goes after the brain. And typically, unfortunately, you'll be in a dangerous and scary situation before you even realize it. The reason I'm bringing this... Oh, happy birthday, Eli. I hope you have a wonderful birthday and that it is a nice one. I don't know, Steve Smith, but welcome to the chat. As I was saying, you're going to want to take like softer ice packs, ideally some of the higher end ones if you can get them, but any old emergency pack will work so long as you wrap it in something like a rag, a shirt, something. And then you're going to want to begin to rapidly cool down the person's body if they're suffering from heat exhaustion or, God forbid, heat stroke. Now again, before, 10 years ago, right now you're not getting a bumping because I got the pickle barrel off my hip. I've got 2 buckets in there for that way when I carry scraps. Ideally, I'll downsize to one thing that I'm carrying rather than my cooler with my water and my art supplies and my bucket for feeding the animals when I finally get off work this afternoon. Above all, just try to watch out for each other. Also, hydration isn't a bad idea. I got a sad realization on the Google because apparently I need to cut coffees out of my diet. Because if we're going to continue living in a subtropical I don't really know what would be, y'all, because the last time the forests of Georgia were this heated, there weren't any humans about to experience them. We're experiencing heat comparable to the dinosaur ages. And, I kind of wish it was another ice age. I feel like we'd have better odds of fighting the ice. Then again, I guess that could also be possible. Let's not rule out the fact that our idiot leader might go ahead and cause nuclear winter. But I'm not trying to doom and gloom. Hello, Asuka. Neat. Opa. But we had a major storm the other day. You really can't tell us how bad it is here. There's not a lot of standing water anywhere, which is kind of good, but wiggle its way out of its proper space. That wasn't a euphemism. I'm carrying a scrap bucket. Times that a bicycle would be really awesome. Although I do hate some of my coworkers because they got that stupid bootstrappy notions about them. And, well, holy ho, I'd have a bicycle by now. Yeah, every paycheck's negative $50 because I also have debts to pay from the winter time. And, oh yeah, the house that was meant to be an investment for the family turned into be a albatross about my neck. So that's still being dealt with. So no, I can't just go buy a bike, much as I would love to. All right, this is my rig more or less, and you can tell where it broke and fucked me up. I might have to readjust some of this. Let me see what I can do to make it still an interesting show, because it's dark as hell out here. I flip the camera. Hello, everybody. Me in the ass every time I take a step. Or making a noose. It made me a noose. Isn't that sweet? Dark joke, ha ha. And then someone tells me that I shouldn't joke about such matters. See, I've been on YouTube long enough to know how the game works. Okay, let's try to wrap it around both sides of this. Let's see if that helps. Let's see a bit better. Nope. Do y'all ever just wonder if it's worth it? I wonder that a lot. But then I see the animal life that's come back that I haven't seen in over a year. Groundhogs, rabbits. I see deer out in Jackass's field again. That's lovely. And I know what little bit I'm doing, as much as this is pissing me off right now, is worth it. Much like in Zombieland, as they pointed out, appreciate the little things. Maybe if I make a knot around the top bit of the handle. I just don't want the plastic handle to come off, because if that happens, then all I've got is two big plastic barrels. And this comes in handy because otherwise, when I'm at work, I can't show y'all the fun throwing it out for the wildlife because those bags are labeled with a fuck ton of the restaurant's logos. And I have promised my good boss that I will not let our shitty overlord find out, there we go, about what I do, because his idea of what I'm doing is, well, did he pay for the scraps? Sir, we're just going to throw them out. Why not give it to him? He stole our scraps. He's a thief. He's a dirty thief. Call the cops. That kind of shit, you know? And it's, no, I'm taking something that you're going to send to a landfill, and instead I'm feeding the wildlife around us, which is already having a positive effect on the land around us. Again, I've seen more deer. I've seen more ground. I would argue some of them make more of a difference than most people. Haha, that should work as a sliding. All right. We re-rigged up our bucket. We got our bucket of water. I thankfully did have the forethought to, wash the bucket out. It's gonna scrape the crap out my legs, but you know what? Price is paid. And I got this lovely little metal hook that I can just grab hold of like that. Like that. Not great, but much like they taught us when we worked on the river, sometimes you out on a tow and a tow breaks loose and you got to make do with what you got. Having things is nice. Making do is what makes man. Whew. So how's y'all's day been? Hopefully less stressful than mine. Oh, I'm completely crazy, Michael. Actually, certifiably crazy. I don't need it, but it'd be handy to help. No, what can I get? I can get a gun. Do you think you should give a crazy person a gun? Because technically I could get one. That's the fuck state of our country we live in. They'll kill your grandma and then charge you double to bury her. But hey, and yes, I might do it in an angry way. I might bitch the entire time I'm doing it. But at least I'm trying to do something. Most people, unfortunately a lot of people I know, have just gone ahead and said, fuck it, let it roll. And what do we have here? We're going to be kind of quiet and respectful of this because it looks like someone's had a bad morning. And I'm going to go ahead and flip that camera so y'all can stare at the fun field. And these people flip you goddamn camera. There we go. Y'all can see the field, and these nice folks, whoever they may be, can maintain their privacy. It looks like an accident, but I don't see any people. This is strange. This is odd. But hey, the sun is slowly starting to rise. And there's a lovely haze. Not really clouds, at least none that I can see, but a lovely haze blocking out the moon in the upper part of the sky. Either way, y'all, I'm happy to have you here. Welcome to the morning stream. We did the Minecraft earlier. I plan on doing another one today after work. But honestly, with the heat index expected to be in the 105, I might just go ahead and, if one of my lovely coworkers is heading towards my town, go ahead and catch a ride home. But y'all still get a video. If I do that, I'll just walk down to the docks a little bit further from my house and we'll feed the fish in the river there. And who knows, maybe we'll take a small bucket of pond mud or river mud for our efforts and add that to the project back at the house. Like I said, y'all, the Republicans play fast and loose with the laws. So must we. But I say we do it for the greater good, not for the sake of, hurting children like they do it for. Just saying, I can say that with pride for once. Not a single fucking cockless Democrat voted to seal the Epstein files. Not even one of them knew what it meant to say, oh no, let's not show the pedophile's client list. They knew what it meant to say, let's not do that. The Republicans, let's just say, if you didn't want that list to go public, better hope your name's not on it, friend, because maybe your people are lazy and stupid. The real workers and movers and shakers be moving and shaking now. And who knows, maybe something good will come of it. Maybe not. I've lost a lot of faith in this country. Tends to happen when a fascist runs right over it and most people are still flying the fucking fascists' flags. And if you go talk to them, they'll try to give you that horse shit southern, well, I don't know, man. I'm just looking out for my neighbor. And they act like dipshits. So call them dipshits, folks. They're stupid. If they're Trump supporters and open Trump supporters, they're dipshits. It's okay. They can either be monsters or dipshits, but they can't be smart and support a giant pedophile. Just saying. This is, I think, why it's going to be so hot today and so dangerous. If you notice the cloud cover, it's very, very thick. Now, I don't think there's anything the government's doing it. No, I think that due to the humidity in the air, we had a hard, heavy storm last night, but the storm stormed out. And now we're left with heavy clouds, a ton of moisture, and everything's about as wet as it can get at the moment. It's also why I have stopped drinking my water quite so quickly. I am trying to get these stupid bags to go with me here. I need to downsize or get my camping bag cleaned off better, but when you hand wash everything and your cat's decided to turn your camping bag into a latrine, I'm waiting to make sure it gets properly cleaned. Oh good, it's facing the right way. I was half afraid I was letting y'all get a real close up of my face. Also, I decided to do a fun little short, mostly because the artsy pictures for a short, or I need to figure out how to stretch more pictures out of each one. But I'm still going to upload one of those. I'm just working on it. I decided instead to give y'all a little shot of one of my cats being particularly adorable. And don't worry, she didn't scratch my face. She's a sweetheart. But yeah, she did like gently caress my face with her claws. It was quite odd up there. One of them appears to be missing a piece off of it, but both cars appear drivable with blinky lights and all. So I'm like, I was expecting to see a person at some point, or ideally, since it was two vehicles, people. But I mean, I don't even think these are people poaching, because just saying, if you were going to poach in the South, not that you should, but pro tip, don't turn your blinkers on and leave your flashers on where you leave your car. It makes it. Though unfortunately, it's a steady wind and not a lot of coolness with that wind. It's sort of like getting fanned in a sauna. It's one of those you're sweating, but your sweat ain't got nowhere to go or nothing to do for you. But we're making it. Oh wow, there's 5 of you now. How y'all doing? Hello, Chris Lopez. Goodbye, Chris Lopez. That's okay. I know I neglect chat. I'm sorry, y'all. I want to pay more attention. I'm just so very used to playing and talking and all that, and an audience of 0. Then I look back at it and I got an audience of like 50. That's in the after view. Most of my things I talk to for the future. In this case, it's just enjoying this lovely Harley stroll. Right now I'm walking on the road, so it's a lot easier. If I was walking in the ditch, well, it'd be a lot more difficult because they never trim out through here. Something that I would normally applaud because it gives the wildlife a chance, but here's the problem. You can see where the wild line is versus the shrub bullshit they put in because they want to subsidize our sod farms by giving them a ton of taxpayer dollars to basically come out here, scalp the land, and then throw down their lovely English sod. Just because it's grown in your state doesn't mean it's native to the state. And if instead of growing all that lovely English sod and employing all their lovely robot labor in the form of self-driving tractors, which they have. I think I even have a few pictures of them in action because they put them behind their little walls of vegetation. And if you want to get a good shot of them, you kind of got to either trespass or climb up real high. But some clear days you can see them driving, and it's just a tractor. It's like they went and bought a tractor and then put a fancy computer thing on it. And so it's just a tractor, seat like a driver could be in it and all that, but it's just driving itself. And when you look down on the front of the tractor, you'll see these little bitty camera nubs, as well as about 3 to 4 antennas sticking off the back. And again, I totally get the idea. Right now, like today, for example, around noon, it's supposed to be 100 degrees with a wet bulb temperature or heat index of around 109 with the humidity added in. So, by all means, if you cannot make your employees work out in it, that would be ideal. Here's the problem. I understand greed, and I've never seen a good business owner that isn't a greedy bastard. So yeah, unfortunately, their workers will hopefully and probably get the day off, or the month, or until their subscription to the electronic device runs out. But they're not going to be paying them. They're not going to give them half wages or, hey, I know you at least got to eat, so here's something for lunch. No, it's a fuck you, go find another job, brokey. And I think that sucks as a society. I mean, for a contend with them and do it always, well, yeah, it's rough and it's tumble, but that's what gave us the men who won World War II and gave up. Is that how we won? By abusing our children? Because remember, I'm from the 90s, kids. I'm a elder millennial, as it's called, apparently, because while I love technology, I still occasionally get baffled by it. But most of all, I grew up when it was really hard to stay informed about things, because in order to get informed as a fellow like me, you'd have to walk to the library, find information through old books, write down the notes you needed from that information, being very careful to take note of that time the book had come out, like which edition it was, and citing the source. That way, when you're talking to somebody about it, even though you're in the South, they're definitely not going to read that book. It's not a hunting fishing magazine. What are you, stupid? They're not going to read that. But you could give them the cited source so they could pretend that they had read it and disagree with it. Because that's what they would always do, too, is, oh, here, I'm going to go read that. Okay, here's the page, here's the book, here's the edition, and it was at this library I found the book at. Okay, well, that's dumb and gay. I don't like it. It was stupid. Hey, bud, who wrote the book? Can you give me the author's name since you read it? Since you at least looked at it? What did the title look like the cover page? Oh, you didn't. You're just ignorant and don't like to have to do things. I get it. I've been around ignorant dipshits. Hell, I've been an ignorant dipshit. I try my best not to, but I still do it sometimes. For example, I could be talking about the Epstein thing and be trying to farm clout. I said my piece on it. Our president is a pedophile. He was a major part of a pedophile ring. And yeah, I do totally believe that Jeffrey Epstein was a intelligence whatever for Mossad and probably a lot of other people. Because here's the thing about those horrible monsters that they are. Those terrible fucking monsters that are pedophiles tend to stick closely together. And because everyone unanimously, other than Republicans, agrees we hate pedophiles, yeah, they basically keep that shit together real close. Did he have a client list? No. Hey, here's a fun thing, though. We could probably find the client list just by saying we're going to release it and seeing how many people vehemently say, no! Just saying. Oh, if I'm from the 90s, why am I talking about World War II? Because it was a major fucking event that changed a whole lot of shit. Would you rather me talk about the Cuban Missile Crisis? When basically a leader of Cuba said, hey, I could use some help, U.S., and the U.S. snubbed them, and Russia said, hey, we'll help you, but you need to put some Russia. And all he did was want to feed his people. Or we could talk about all the drug wars that the U.S. basically went into, and they basically, Contras versus, what was it? We couldn't directly give the guns to the freedom fighters, so we gave money to their drug dealers in hopes that the drug dealers would get the guns to the freedom fighters. America never really plans anything, do they? We just jump into it ass first, and then make it the world's problem and walk away screaming we won. Is that what you were wanting to hear from me, friend? Bitch, I'm not homeless. Fuck you. Charlie Jones, you sad little boot-licking cunt. Friend, I have a job. I work typically 60 to 80 hours a week. I walk to work both because it's better for the environment. Also, unlike some of your dipshit ass friends, I'm not going to put myself in debt to a broken system. Hell, after years, I've worked my way up to a negative $50 debt each payday. And that's basically $50 I know as the game's broken. Sounds like you a dipshit, friend. Exactly, the one guy. Good name, too, by the way. But, yeah, I ain't no war here but class war. Look at me, friend. I'm wearing my work uniform. Well, I'm wearing something that resembles my work uniform Because fuck them, they want me to pay $15 to $20 per fucking shirt. And let me be clear, y'all, they're not fucking, it's not high fashion. It's just highway robbery. So yeah, I wear shit like this. I got it from Michael's. Shop and thrift around, friends. The best way to fight the system, instead of being like Charlie and, licking that boot. Instead, fight it where you can. By that, I'm not saying commit acts of violence. By that, I'm saying commit acts of constructive vandalism. And when someone sees you repairing, for example, flip the camera, kind of standing in a dangerous spot, says, by the way, I'm not from the government. My name's Bob, or whatever your name is, and I'm here to help. Okay, now it sounds like you're writing a song that I've heard before, but yes, exactly the one guy. Old people fighting, young people dying, old money, making money, real workers just trying to live. Exactly. Like I said, y'all, usually, right now, I'd be listening to one of my YouTube political talking heads, or I'd be listening to a playlist. I'm starting to put those out online. I'm just hesitant because, y'all, let's be clear. Someone might have a beautiful singing voice and be a terrible fucking human being. For example, the new lead singer to Linkin Park. I loved Chaz and the old band, and his death will always be a tragedy to me. But I don't mind the band moving on. What I mind is that their new lead singer, the lady lead singer, told rape victims to just shut up and sit down. I mind that she went with the Candace Owens side of, oh, well, Me Too wasn't that bad. It was just a bunch of people getting mouthy and not knowing how the game works. Y'all, I'm just saying, if the game works that way, fuck that game. But again, it's basic shit, y'all. I'm not saying anything that anyone watching this heading to work doesn't already know. Your boss doesn't care about you. You could die, and for example, if you work at Walmart, they've already got a life insurance plan to cash out on you. For their CEOs, what, do you think it was for your family? You're hilarious. They look at your family like parasites. I mean, again, why do you think it is most... Okay, back when I first started working, long ago, in the 2000s, I basically worked at a mall place called, well, way back then I worked at the gas station, but second job after I left home was Sbarro, a pizza place in the mall. Look up what malls used to be. We used to have them. Used to be a mall in every town. But I worked at a pizza place in the mall. It was Sbarro. I worked there with my soon-to-be wife and a douchey manager that basically, it was the early 2000s. He was trying to hire the hottest, youngest kids because that attracted all the clientele. And he hated my ass because I would frequently be a pain in his ass. I would fuck up his game every day. Basically, he'd call a new hire in. I'd make an excuse to stay late and just hang out. And typically, I would be the one telling the girl, hey, for the record, if he propositioned you in any way, I'd contact the police. That's a crime. One, because of their ages, but also because I hate people in power abusing people. If you find yourself in a position of power, wield it to the benefit of all those around you, not just yourself. And if it wouldn't benefit the group, why do it? Like I said, I come off aggressive a lot. It's because I never rest. And then typically a dipshit will hear me say, hey, maybe we should get paid a living wage and live indoors. Oh, you're just a homeless dumbass. No, I have a job. Like most of our homeless in America, I'm working. But I'm not homeless. I have a roommate that I care a lot about. I care immensely about him, actually, but that goes beyond that, and it's something that he probably couldn't understand. Where'd all the Americans? Friend, I chase off the Americans so quickly, mostly because I'm not a bootlicker. I'm an aggressive anarchist, friend. I am all for it. And here's the thing, y'all. You can sit at home and say, oh, I'll change it. I'll vote to change it. Let me show you something that I fucking did. Not the state, not a co-op. This is one of those few times I'm going to do the exceptionalism thing. It was helped. I got help from the people who gave me the blueberries or the blackberries. Where'd it go? Unless they tore the plant down. I had basically half this. There it is up ahead. This is from 2 plants that I got from a coworker that I got lazy and tired and couldn't make it all the way home with. So I basically planted it here. And because I knew this was going to be a construction site, they were aggressively keeping everyone away. The blueberry or the blackberries took root and mixed with some of these other wild critters. And had the state not sprayed this side with poison, a lot of people could come around here and pick wild blackberries for their enjoyment. Now, granted, they aren't blooming right now. It's not the time, but the point is, I did that with the help of 2 other people that didn't have to be here with me to do it. The fact is, every small action, no matter how small, does make a difference. Whether you decide to throw a handful of seeds and a rotten tomato out your window or a beer bottle, you are making the difference. The question is, what difference are you making? Wild prairie poppy. Aren't they pretty? Another random thing that happened because of people like me. Y'all, we ain't gonna get our land back by just asking nicely. The capitalist pigs will never ever give it back. They'll give you trashier land. I suggest going even further back than World War II. Oh God, Charlie, hold on. But going back to the French Indian War and the Relocation Acts. I mean, people, oh, there's puppies. People act like, this is new. No, this has been happening, y'all. This has been happening since white folks crashed on the shore. And long before. Oh God, I'm starting to rhyme. I must be having a heat stroke. But, I mean, hell, the Cherokee people, the Cherokee nations, not throwing any shade because, quite frankly, I'm a white dude. What the fuck can I say against them? But the Cherokee nation sided with the Confederacy in the Civil War for 2 reasons. 1, they really wanted to hit Uncle Sam in the balls. Fuck that old cunt. But 2, they had slavery in the Cherokee nations. It was one of the few Native American nations that allowed slavery. Not indentured servitude, not, oh, you work for me for 5. No. Slavery. They owned them. They didn't have chattel slavery because that's a particularly white person notion. That's a particularly white Southern plantation owner notion. But they did have slavery like in the biblical sense, like in the sense, I conquered this dude's tribe, now he's mine, as is his wife, as is his children. Native Americans had problems too, y'all. Get rid of that whole, oh, they're all sacred, like Pocahontas. No. Now, granted, there are very, very, very sacred Native American peoples, ones that I can't even begin to even insult. I'm trying to think of one of the good land tenders, because they did just that. They would sort of like what I'm trying to do, like the Hopi. They would seed the rivers. When they did hunts, they would always put different things in different areas, like spreading the viscera and guts for various animals. It was an art of, I don't want to leave anything bad behind. In fact, if I could leave it prettier than when I got here, yeah, you can thank your Native American tribes for that kind of mentality. White Christians said, I want to make it mine and I want to make it look like me. Again, why do you think most of the people that moved in here from England didn't like English freedom? But they sure did want those little English buildings, didn't they? Like I said, I'm not some expert in any goddamn thing. I'm just a person that's pissed off and trying my best to put that anger into a good place. And no, unlike most of the new age of digital beggars, even though I do have a Ko-Fi now, check me out, Travis Croy, the Hiking Hound Artist Ground. But I've been going for about 30 minutes. I got to throw out a thing. Acting your messages, that one guy. I want to read them. Yours haven't been annoying me. And for the record, if you disagree with me, that's fine. We can disagree, but don't try to lob insults at me and pretend like, oh, well, friend, there's nobody here, so I'm just going to go away now. That's an underhanded why. I mean, don't get me wrong. Commenting helps regardless, and all that helps the algorithm. And And apparently that's what I dance for, but I do my best to dance for y'all, not for the algo. Yeah. No, it's just, sun's coming up. I haven't hit this water bottle since I started walking, and yet I'm still just basically melting. That's the problem that we've hit on as a people. We've hit a heat index that you can't just be lazy about it. The only way to get cooled off in this heat is to get in the shade and get physically cooled off by something. I mean, for the record, that fast enough to create a wake of wind, and it felt like I got fanned in a sauna, as did that one. There's no air here now. Well, no air as far as like cool. And yet, see, that's the thing, y'all, and that's what I think our biggest problem as a society is. If I had a masked killer like Ghostface, Jason, the Grudge Lady, I can't think of any modern monsters, but if I had some faceless killer, that's bullcrap. I don't want you kicked out of my chat at least. But if we had some masked monster, or if my favorite monster, the werewolves, were coming, yeah, y'all would be doing so. We'd be melting down grandma's fine silver china to help fight the menace. And yet, because it's just basically the thermostat's going to get turned up until we all burn, half of the people around me, well, that's what the Bible said, so that's fine. What? What do you mean that's fine? You understand what burning means, right? I'll be in my house with the air conditioning until Jesus calls me. Son, that call ain't coming through. You need to do something to change the situation we're in. Jesus. Okay, leave that one behind. We're moving on. We're going to find people that can help and that want to help. Look for the good. Because with everyone out there that's just killing the environment with that kind of bullshit, there's another one out there that's trying to live sustainably. Yo, like I said, I hope that optimism's enough, but I don't think optimism's enough anymore. Optimism was enough when you could still, exist with the evils around you. I don't care to deal with the choking fumes or the fact that I've been hit once by one of these drunk assholes in a truck. Not that that person is drunk, but I've already been hit by drunk assholes in a truck before. I can deal with that kind of shit. What I can't deal with is a walk that typically took an hour and I was ready to go to work when I got in is now a walk that will almost take an hour and a half to 2 hours. And once I get to work, I have to dry the sweat off of me before I can get properly cleaned to then go about cooking these assholes food. Also, not that I would ever do it, because again, y'all, let me show you my genuineness, my love of the game. I would never, ever do anything bad to anyone's food. That being said, y'all certainly got a lot of smoke for the motherfuckers who cook food for y'all. And y'all certainly got a lot of smoke for motherfuckers when you ordering eggs and soups. Some of y'all never saw Fight Club, or Still Waiting, and clearly never took the messages to heart. Because, again, the reason I got into food prep as a job, as okay, this is something I'll eat for the rest of my life until I die. The whole reason why, rather than carpentry, rather than construction, rather than drywall, rather than concrete, rather than any of the other things, I was never going to be a plumber. I don't have the mind for it. I like using plumbing. I like the fact that we can make water go where we want it to go. I'm a bit like a chinchilla in the sense that I don't like being wet. And that asshole was swerving to try to get in my way, it looked like. I'd take a step to the left, he'd move a little bit over that white line a little bit further. Like I said, some of it's my imagination. I'm trying not to be paranoid about it. But some of it's just you motherfuckers want to get a score count for hitting folks. Understand, I'm gonna get it on camera. Hit me and some crackhead ain't stealing that money again. I'm gonna invest in my community. We're gonna get up, y'all. Shit, I'll put in my own fucking bridge so folks can get over to you, Harley, and actually go to city council meetings, get to the library, get to the civic center, and go and have the food truck day. That's all just over a bridge. A bridge that if I get a ride home, I'll show y'all today. That you cannot cross if you're on this side of the tracks without a vehicle. Like I said, it's why every time I hear one of my asshole friends, why don't you just go for politics? Why don't you just be a politician? One, do you think they're going to let my ass in court when I'm saying motherfucker every other word? Because I'm going to say motherfucker, because I'm motherfucking pissed. And fuck all the pomp. If you've got time to be pompous and sweet with your language, friend, you ain't paying attention. The reason I'm pissed is because there's a reason to be. Our country has goose-stepped right into fascism, and a lot of folks are getting real hurt out here. Hell, there wouldn't be animals on, not to say it, not to give myself a big head. It's not just me, it's everybody working in unison. But, oh, thank you. I bought it from Ingles and I just used it up with some crocheting and Michael's bauble tree. I always reuse what I can. Eventually I'm gonna put a little stitch up there that I found. I just can't decide because it's a stuffed one and I hate the remake. I just do. I hate it. I was willing to deal with a lot of it, but they got rid of the main villain, if there was one, the bounty hunter. And spoiler alerts, by the way, but they got rid of the bounty hunter, and basically the meaning of the movie went from Ohana means family, and we should think about the impact of what we're doing to Hawaii, to fuck all that, capitalism rules, y'all. Woo! Abandon your family. Fuck them. That was the motto to Lilo and Stitch. They took not Blinkley, that was the cross-dresser who they removed the cross-dressing element from, and that was upsetting. No, the mad scientist who, again, kind of influenced me as a kid. Because I've been dealing with this kind of bullshit in my head since I was a little kid. But I've always tried to, I got to deal with it. And I need to try my best to make the best I can. I've been diagnosed with ADHD since I was like 10. Around the age of about, I'd say 24, 23, I started to hear a persistent set of voices. Kind of like a crowd. Those voices change. It's sort of like I'm serving a hydra or some such, but they're always there. So I do believe I might have a touch of the schizophrenia. But who knows? Because, again, I'm in America. I tried to get help. The help they offered was, here's some antiviral medication, because they thought I had some kind of disease in the brain. And good luck, Chuck. Come back to the hospital if you end up getting fatally wounded or hurt. And that's where I've run so far. I do my best to do my best, and I do my best to not make my problems other people's problems. I mean, hell, I never expected 102 of y'all to get on board with the plan, and all I ask is, like I said, make a difference. I'm not telling you go out here and do something wildly dangerous. I wouldn't. Don't. They will straight up shoot your ass. Don't. But you don't have to be brave and bold and undaunted. Got to dodge. Had to dodge that one. That motherfucker was not sharing the road. But, like I said, I'm not asking you to be brave, bold, undaunted. But I am saying, hey, you done with that apple? How about take the seeds in the core and throw it into the gutter somewhere so it can maybe grow a tree, possibly. Hey, the city really, really, really doesn't want you to put grease into the drains. You want to know why? Because if you feed into the city structures with that, it creates giant fatbergs. Well, here's why they don't like those giant fatbergs. Fatbergs create backup, which create ice, which burst pipes. Well, burst pipes must be replaced. They can't get their bonuses or their extra money if you're making fat. I'm ring. I didn't mean to, but are we back? Are we good? I hope we're back and good. Either way, they can't get their nice fat bonuses and added shit into their accounts if they're having to do crazy shit like hire workers and repair things. What I'm getting at very quietly about, I might add, is let's break the system a little bit. And I'm not saying burn anything. I'm not saying smash a single goddamn window. I'm saying I've noticed a coworker of mine doing something that's utterly infuriating, but it's fucking working. I hate it, but it's fucking working. I'm not ousting him, because if I did, it would stop working. But this dude is basically turning himself into the Meg of our group, the counterpoint of all the group's negativity. And I'm not feeding into it, but I also see what he's doing, and I hope he don't hurt himself doing it. Because no, at this point, the upper management is talking about trying to get him out of there. Which again, it's a testament to how nice our boss is as Miss Mary. Because let's be clear, we're in Georgia. We're a right-to-work state. If I walk in there today and my boss, I saw the podcast. Oh, cool, I got a new viewer. Yeah, I saw the podcast. You said fuck capitalism. Fuck you, you're fired. They can just do that. They can literally, I don't like the way your face looks today. You're fired. Welcome to Georgia. Welcome to America. A right-to-work state. You have the right to get fucked. And people should think about that. It's why we need to build unions, even if unions ain't got a lot of force outside of what people put into them. But that's the thing. All I'm asking is the tiniest push. Just a little push. Feed your local wildlife, but do it in a way that you're not hand feeding them. Here's the reason why. Truth be told, I'll tell you the real reason. National parks, all that, they're going to feed you some horse shit. They're going to tell you because it's bad for the animals, because it's bad for the environment, because they don't know how to hunt no more. No. Here's why. If you feed animals by hand, they will start associating us humans with food. Maybe not as a food source, but as something you can go to and get attention from to get food. If you do that enough, you'll end up with super cocky animals like in some parts of India, where a type of, I don't remember the exact type of monkey. They're very cute monkeys, though. I understand how they got it. Same reason cats tricked us all. They're very cute. But this monkey will straight up walk up to you and steal your lunch right out of your mouth. And it's not a monkey you know. It's just a teeny, I'm going to say capuchin, but I'm probably wrong. Don't hate me for that. I'm just a placeholder, so I quit saying monkey. It's a capuchin. But still. They're like little, they might be macaques? I don't know. I don't have access to my computer when I'm live streaming, sadly, yet. I'm still working on that. I'm good to carry my slop bucket and my art supplies / water source. I would like to carry one like in the Independence Day movie where I can just loop that fucker around like a third arm and type on it. But still. Also doing that might get me mugged. I do walk through a pretty rough neighborhood every morning. Come on, flip it. I walk through a pretty rough neighborhood of very unsavourable people every morning. I'm very scared they're going to try to mug me, y'all. We all know the rich are the most dangerous cunts on the planet because they don't care to kill you for the change in your pocket. Hell, they'll murder you for the sake of getting the tax write-off for the bullets. Terrible people. Just terrible rich folks. And I got to look at their opulence every fucking day. Maddening, isn't it, friends? I work 60 hours a week. Half the time, they're not even awake for the day. But then again, I also got to remember, half the time their houses are empty because most of the rich cunts that live in places like that live in multiple places like that. I'm just looking at their summer getaway home or their winter away place. Like I said, I'm not trying in any way to be xenophobic in any sense. But it's one of those, it's much like the native environment, native peoples and all that. We do better when we work together and you don't really invest if it's not yours. Now, so you could easily twist that and make it be about immigrants, but I'd say it's definitely not because every time I see a road crew, 90% of the time I see immigrants on that road crew. Every time I see somebody making a difference, even if they're getting paid for it, because we're in fucking capitalism, that shit counts. But when they're building the park, when they're picking up the trash in the park, black folks, prisoners, immigrants, The only time I see white folks out there, typically they're smoking cigarettes in the corner. Why is that, I wonder? It's not fair to hate on white people. That's mean. Yeah, what am I going to do? Hurt their colonizing fucking feelings? Fuck the white folks, and I'm one of them. Unlike them, though, I'll be down here in the fucking trenches with you. And for anyone that does fund on the Ko-Fi, I plan on finding a way to show y'all my books with that so you can see that it's going to better straps for my garden buckets. If I can, if I get enough viewers and enough funding, y'all send me to college. I'll go take ecology classes and shit like that. And I'll come out here and start teaching y'all the shit that they teach in there as best I can for as free as I can. Again, it won't be like, you know, you can go do anything with it, but you'll know it so that when you take the classes, you'll have the notes ahead of time kind of shit. Like I said, y'all, I don't know how to do this shit. I'm just doing my best. I was very much prepared before the Trump administration to take my hiking pack, take my 3 dogs, and maybe 2 of my cats, and just fuck right the hell off into a national park somewhere. Get way up in it and stay away from society until I died of old age. Or succumb to the voices. Either way. That was my plan. That was my go-to. That was my dream. If you asked me in middle school, what do you want to do? That's what I wanted to do. Instead, because I've seen it too many times. If you go out in those national parks and you just try to fuck off from society, society drags you back. Don't ask me how I know. Don't bother asking how I know. But since I have to be here and we have to be a part of this society together, I figure let's make the best of it. And if I can inspire 2 to 3 of y'all to just plant a wild plant today that's native to your area, or plant a food plant, that one gets a little more complicated because for that one, I need you to plant the food plant more than 200 feet from the road. The reason why is because if it is not more than 200 feet from the road, it will grow up with the rubber dust. It will grow up with the poisons that the government sprays on the roadside to deal with mosquitoes. I still get eaten the fuck up by mosquitoes. I don't know what they're controlling, but it certainly keeps any of the wild berries from growing up. And like I said, either way, 200 feet away from the road. That way folks who find your plants can eat them. There. Also, don't make vehicles tacky and stupid. Seriously, the amount of vehicles I see that are driving around rated for going through like real shit, and the people that are in them could not be there for that. I've seen it happen before with people. Hey, the waters are coming, the water's rising, we need to go get those people, and they just freeze the fuck up. That's not your fault. Everyone does it. I've done that before. But at the same time, if you're going to drive I'm ready and rearing, I'm a man. If you're going to drive a man truck, perhaps you should be a man. By that, I'm also not insulting my girl bosses who drive big trucks. If you can utilize that tool, and you do utilize that tool, it ain't about you. It's a tool. I wouldn't make fun of you just like I don't make fun of people that use the giant wrenches. Even though those are some pretty comically sized wrenches, aren't they, fellas? But at the same time, if you're not like that dude probably uses the fuck out of his big truck. Because look at him. Don't look at his license plate, but look at him. He's got a welder. He's got all sorts of shit on there. He's using that horsepower. Maybe for evil. I don't know him. I don't know his life or her life. But what I know is that's a working truck. All these pavement princesses riding around like they got a load full in their diaper. Again, don't know how that craze caught on. Why? Also, the reason I hate the ones that are leaned down is you can't see me. If you can't see me at 5'6"-ish, I got real confident there and then forgot I ain't been to a doctor since I was in high school. So 5'6" the last I measured. But if you can't see me, what chance in hell does a little kid out here have? What chance in hell does some hunched up old feller have? People need to start thinking about more than their fucking selves, especially how this country's been right now. Like I said, I'm lecturing to nobody. I always end up eventually lecturing to nobody. But it's like, It's about accountability. It's about knowing what you've done, because I've done horrible shit too, y'all. Hell, for fuck's sake, for fucking 15 years of my life, if I was in a vehicle or if I was around it, if I was out in nature and I thought, oh, I'm done with that, I would throw it away. By throwing it away, I meant throwing it away from my body. Prisoners got to pick up something, right? They got to pay for their crimes. I was a product of this shit, y'all. And I want people to do better. I do, because we can do better together. But part of it's listening. Part of it's being there for each other. Like I said, y'all, I don't like to rant and rave. Well, that's a lie. It feels kind of cathartic to rant and rave. But again, and I probably won't be taking slop by the river. It appears tourists are using the river again. But yeah, it's just... We still gonna feed the fish, y'all. We just ain't gonna feed the fish there. And it's a key part. It kind of is a mixed bag for me on that one, because y'all, I get that what I feed the fish goes in to feed the greater infrastructure and all that. It's a part of me. When I feed something, I don't want it to get hurt and die. It's a motherly instinct, I guess, or something. I don't know. But I like to feed the fish. Seeing a little crappie and the catfish come up for the food and all that, it does a little thing to my heart when I get to see it. It rarely as it is right now. I'm hoping that rareness will go away as we continue seeding and feeding the rivers. But yeah, y'all, it's mostly just... I'm not saying rebel like violently, because that won't work. We've passed the time when violent rebellion would do anything. Right now, all violent rebellion will do is put targets on everyone who ever talked to you. Because we live in a very fascist, very petty government. I mean, again, he's getting ready to revoke Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship. Just for fun, who remembers Rosie O'Donnell? Because it took a second. Harriet the Spy? I loved Rosie, but the reason I loved Rosie is she looked a lot like my mother, and a lot of her mannerisms, well, if my mother hadn't gone a different way, would have probably been like Rosie O'Donnell. And it's like, so I kind of liked the woman. But yeah, it took me a minute to be like, where the fuck even is Rosie O'Donnell? Because I hadn't heard through her from the California wildfires, through the flooding. And I was like, okay, well, all the other celebrities have come out crying how we should feel bad for them. I ain't even heard from Rosie. She's like that one, like Amanda Bynes. She just vanished and fucked off. Oh, now I see she's in Ireland. So Donald Trump is feuding with a not celebrity anymore in Ireland who's just living her best life. To put it in context, because I feel y'all need to feel as insane as I do right now. The president of the United States of America, arguably the strongest nation on the planet. Don't look at all the wars we lost. Arguably the most powerful nation on the planet. Don't look at how much we licked Benjamin Netanyahu's taint. But arguably the most resource rich. Yeah, we stole all those. Place on the planet. And yet he's having beef with a fat lesbian in Ireland? That was rude. She's probably not fat anymore. Who knows? But that was like how I remembered her. Fat, happy, laughing about shit. She would joke about it. I loved Rosie O'Donnell. And granted, I'm looking at her through a lot of nostalgia lenses here. Harriet the Spy is the main thing I remember her from. But it's like, he's beefing with her. The President of the United fucking States of America. Doesn't he have bigger issues right now? Oh, yeah, of course he does. That's why he's trying to distract you. Again, I think every Trump supporter really needs to sit quietly alone for a minute and come to the facts that their main thing that I kept hearing them squawk about was, oh, they're about protecting the children. They're about protecting. Okay, cool. Y'all see the Epstein file shit, right? I mean, I would highly suggest checking out Legal Eagle's video before the president tries to deport him. Because here's the thing, y'all. The Epstein list got released ages ago, like years before this shit happened. There was one little girl that sued Prince Andrew because she was 16, and the prince of fucking wherever decided to fuck her. with his gross little inbred body. And yeah, she got him. She got compensation. She had to sign a gag order because, of course, they did. They always have to. Basically meaning that you can't talk about it. You can't talk about them. You need to quietly fuck off and take all this money now. It's why a lot of victims choose not to and then end up dying mysteriously. But yeah, there's a lot of victims out there, y'all. Court cases are there. Check out Legal Eagle's video. He dropped the actual, the hard T on that stuff. As an actual lawyer, I would rather tell you to go check him out. But yeah, it's there. So for any Trump supporter, ball's in your court, buddy. Because yeah, Biden might have been a fucking unhinged fucking monster. He might have been bloody Joe Biden, the genocider of the Middle East, Netanyahu's war dog. But you know what he wasn't? A kid diddler. You can say a whole bunch of evil bullshit about his son too. And none of your business, none of my business, but his business dealings with drugs. Again, he might have done drugs, but he didn't do kids. Let's talk about Trump. Let's talk about Epstein Island. Let's talk about, how about we talk about the fact that he's always been open about him liking younger women? How about we talk about the fact that Epstein's the one that set him and Melania up? Was Melania a child bride? Who knows? Nobody that isn't looking into it, that's for sure. Now I'm right back on that because that's what I've been fed for fucking 3 days. Like I said, I want to find good stories, but like the majority of the other stories I'm reading, park attendance is at a record high, but they're going to start charging. Originally, the president was just going to make it racist and, we're only going to charge people not born in America to join the parks. Now, because the parks have got like no people, no funding, and no hope, they're now having to charge hikers an admission fee for several of the more like well-renowned, like Olympic Park now has an admission fee. Places that usually had a don't worry about it, but please donate a little bit. Well, no, now it's a ticketed event. You need a ticket. If you get caught on the park side of ticket, you will be trespassing. And I hate it. I want to be mad at our parks. That's our public land. That's your goddamn right as an American to go see that land. But I also kind of get, especially with most Americans being the way we are, you can't really do that because Americans will trash the place. So I get needing to pay a small fee. My problem is I don't think that'll help with their problem. Because you're not going to be able to make enough of a fee to make up the equipment and the people you need. Because once you start charging people a fee, well, then you're going to see the capital A American in the Americans. You start charging people a fee and suddenly all of our great parks land becomes a place to litter. Suddenly the fat dipshit hillbilly mom is going to think it's her right to let her kid ride on a grizzly bear like a pony. And I hate it, but that's kind of the culture in America. I bought it, so it's mine now. The only way to counter that, as they found back in the day, was just that, to basically allow it to be free to all people who wanted to come in. But if you get caught littering, you'll be put in major trouble for it. Well, of course, unless you're rich. If you're everything in America ties back to money. So get rich enough and there's your cheat code. You can do whatever you want. Hell, Trump has raped how many small children? Now he's the president of the United States of America. I mean, Epstein, if you're a terrible human being, went from being just a high school teacher to a high school teacher at a fancy academy to one of the richest men in the goddamn world owning an island. And all it took were hundreds of fucking dead and hurt children. That's all it took. Hell, look at P. Diddy. Look at Diddy. How many people did Diddy done hurt bad? And what'd the court say? Well, Mr. Diddy, you are going to jail for 10 years. And we're going to protect you while you're in jail because, of course, you're one of ours. And when he gets out of jail, what you think's going to happen to all those victims came forward and talked? Same thing that happens to any victim ever talks in any situation because the cops are bad at their jobs. They're real good at making people put themselves out there and get hurt. They're real bad at investing and protecting them. Yet every time a fucking serial killer or some kind of fucking monster is going to court, we lock them down hard so no civilian can crack their dome open. Like I said, it's not a fun... These are situations where when I bring them up, I want to give you real ways to fix them, but I can't. Because I can't think of a good way to fix it, you know? I mean, I can tell you what my heart of hearts says, but then YouTube will kick me off and that won't be good for nobody. So it's like... All I can say is the system sucks, but it's the system we've got. Boy, howdy, China. If you wanted to come conquer us, this is one American that wouldn't even fucking fight at this point. Hell, where's that fucking red tube app at? Not red tube, Jesus, that's a different website. Let me go on to the fucking little red book. I can learn Mandarin enough to be like, I don't know many secrets, but anything I can do to help, I want to help. Send the same thing to France and everywhere else. I'm tired of being Canada's dirty diaper. It'd be nice to be Canadian. I don't know. I continue making these jokes and eventually ICE is going to pop out of nowhere and arrest me. Send me to their detention facility to shit in a bucket like what I'm carrying. Because, oh yeah, that was another thing that was just goddamn hilarious if I was evil. They're not going to put concentration camps here. Well, they're not going to put concentration camps here in America. I want to buy the new concentration camp t-shirt. I really want that. I mean, again, if we were an idiocracy or a comedy, I would be pissing my pants laughing so hard right now. But unfortunately, we got to live this shit. And I don't like the fact that here in about 10 years, people are going to be looking at me like they looked at Germans who survived the Nazi occupation. That's a greedy bit, but hell, greed will also help you through sometimes. I'm doing it for self-preservation reasons. Because it's just for fuck's sake. I just don't understand is all. I do not fucking understand. I see it. I see how it happened. I still don't understand how it happened, though. Well, how'd it happen? Well, it's simple. From the 90s on up, we taught our people to be dumb and mean. We taught our people that to show genuine emotion, to put your heart into something, well, that's good for Sunday morning specials, but outside of that, you're to point and laugh and mock that person. If someone shows you a picture that they drew or something they really care about, don't be like, hey, bud, I mean, you're getting there. Don't give positive critique. Nah, tell them they look like the fucking dipshits and need to keep their day jobs. Holy fuck, a pavement princess gave me space. Still my heart, clutch my pearls. I am shocked. See, not everybody's bad. That person will probably one day use their truck to save people from the swamps that will eventually become this part of Georgia. Don't be too cocky, Savannah. You're going to be Atlantis. We'll all be going on about the lost civilization of Florida. And Florida man will drift into the legend. A Sasquatch that we all knew once. And I hate it, but it's the fact. I mean, hell, a good approximation of how I feel. Check out Don't Look Up. I hated that movie and loved it all at the same time. It made me cry laugh. But it's because, I mean, look, y'all, I read The End of Ice in 2019. At the time, Dad was still alive. Much as I hate to say it, I was basically mooching off of him. I took care of his laundry. I took care of his house. I cleaned up behind him. I wiped his ass, and I tried my best to keep up with his medical stuff because as soon as I moved in, Chris started using Dad's car for all sorts of shit, and eventually the car broke down. So we had to use, like, ambulances and shit a lot to get him to his dialysis and his other stuff. I did my best, but at the same time, I was trained in medical office support. I wasn't officially medical office support. I was basically mooching off my dad trying to take care of him. And at that time, that also gave me decent amounts of time where I couldn't go anywhere. I didn't have free time, but I did have time where, okay, he's napping and he's going to be out for a while. So I read a book. And the more I read, the more I started to realize, oh, this isn't good. Oh, this is really not good. And just basically I would read Greta Thunberg at that time for hope. because her page back then, when she was new at the game, it was very hopeful. It was very, yes, but there are good people out there amongst the bad. Yes, but yeah, Grit, I agree. There are good people, and you'll see them out there. Like Mr. Rogers says, look for the good. Look for the helpers helping, and help where you can. And that's about the best advice I can give for this current state of affairs in America. But look for the helpers helping and help. Sounds childish. It's just stupid and childish enough to work. Because like I said, y'all, much like I'm not going to use him as a reference anymore. Fuck those fascist cunts. Leonidas and the Spartans were a bunch of sad little bitches, and they should be went down in history as such. But as I was saying, as I walk down this road, as I record walking in the legal median, as I am appointed to be able to do, because I have nowhere else to walk, that's a straight drop into the river, and this is a construction site, so I can walk to the orange thing. Here's the problem, and I have to get over here for sake of dodging the car, but about this much of it, and then it just slides. So basically, this is how I have to walk. Now, if you would, imagine like a 16-year-old doing this. Some kid that's got to get into work, because I've known a few of them that worked at like Zaxby's and shit, and they got to get to work without a car because their parents have to get to their own separate jobs. And now they have to walk this. Are you happy about that, Georgians? My Uharlians, my Cartersvillians? Because if you're not, the government don't give a fuck unless you give a fuck. You need to be noisy about it. Call them about it. Talk to them. Why is it we're getting whatever the hell this monstrosity is, but we can't even get a sidewalk for our people to walk into Cartersville proper? We can't even get a voice in the fucking council meetings, because when they do the little group council meetings, I'd have to walk this far down the road, then cut over to get to basically Mission Ridge, where Taylorsville and all that is, and then come back up to you, Harley. You'll have to walk about 20 to 30 miles to walk a distance that would be less than 5 if they would put in a proper sidewalk and put in a bridge crossing. But again, they don't care about us. They care about the new residents getting ready to move in. They care about new money coming into their pocket, and we're old money that's already paying up to the max. Here's another fun fact according to Forbes magazine, or I think it was Forbes or AJC. I think it was just a headline, so it was probably AJC, because they want me to pay $3, and no. But apparently, Amazon has now officially stalled out. Not in the sense that, I'm still buying Amazon, you're still buying Amazon. We're all still buying, but nobody has bought anything new. We're just keeping our subscriptions. We're keeping up where we were at. And they have since seen a, not decrease yet, but Amazon has stalled for quite a few months, and it's making old go to get married in Italy while Americans and Palestinians are dying Bezos very uncomfortable. So get ready soon. We'll see deals coming out from Amazon. Please make me relevant deals. He might even be ballsy enough to say something about his favorite pedophile, the president. Who knows? I know what'll happen, though, if we continue to not buy his bullshit. Amazon will go back down in price. Hell, they've already, at least on my services, I see less ads when I use Amazon. Like when I get on the Prime to watch whenever The Boys comes back out again. Because I watch Second Best Little Hospital in the Galaxy. I watch The Boys. And I watch Reacher, but we've got that on DVD. So basically, I love the fact that I've fallen in love with a man that collects DVDs. Because, Blu-ray specifically. Because, if the grid goes down, which it almost did during that bad storm, not that we'll know anything about it, because NOAA has officially had its funding cut. So now we just get to get surprised by the hurricanes. Oh, y'all thought it was bad before. Y'all thought it was bad before. It's going to be so much worse now. But it's... all I can say is try to laugh at it, because otherwise it'll make you cry. Again, they can't put in a sidewalk, but I've never seen a pit that deep. This used to be woodland thicker than that. When I say thicker than that, I mean I pulled at least 10, 20 fucking staffs out of here that were made out of long roots longer than me and thicker than my arms. I trimmed a lot of those down, by the way. Some of them are available in the shop or will be soon. But I mean, I made staffs out of those. And I'm glad I did, because that was the last of the trees that'll ever grow here, at least in living memory. It'll be all right, though, y'all. They're going to put some gaudy, ugly-ass apartments in and pack us in here like sardines and make us pay basically a quarter to 75% of our wages. And then they'll have their dreams, and we can continue working for them. But use your scratcher tickets. Make sure you're playing the lottery. You too might one day be there. I say that with the coldest of humor, being that my grandmother played the lottery from the time the Georgia lottery started, and I think the most she ever won was maybe $100. Whee! Because I'm not gonna die, because my city can't plan shit out. This part's a little dangerous. I can't recommend it. Basically, I hopped the safety line, and now my safety's in my own hands. If they decide to start blasting over here, I'm fucked. But again, you saw that walkway I had. Not much of one. Oh, that one guy, I keep seeing all the redacted messages. YouTube truly must hate you. Because my personal rules are I don't care what you say, just know. Sometimes I do, and it's accidental. So far, in 700 plus videos, I haven't signed though. Mostly my slurs are very, very antiquated slurs. Like, I watched Gangs of New York, and I thought some of the words were cute and funny. I'm like, what? Oh. Well, we won't do that anymore. Give me just a moment, and I shall return to y'all. Unfortunately, all that water has to go somewhere, and mine's about to go into this pit head off first. I'm trying very hard not to pee my pants. Sorry about that. Ignore the man in the porta-john. You're throwing food in the waterways, since I'm in a bit of a watery situation myself. I pointed out, if you throw the food in the waterways, you have to be careful to make sure not to put grease. For example, when you put sausage along the grass lines, like the ants, the beetles, the bugs, and some of the smaller rodents that really dig our bacon. But I would at least, I'd say 5 to 10 feet away from the river. That way, yeah, there might be a little bit of runoff if the rains come, but otherwise, we try to keep our waterways as pristine as we can. Save the pollutant for those horrible capitalists, right? We try to take care of our waterways. Also, there was a goal. No, I don't want to stop. No, stop stopping. Don't stop. Damn it.